which is sort of what the WWE always thought of him, sort of. Hello there, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com and welcome to How WWE Should Have Booked, where I look back at infamous WWE misbooking opportunities and talk about how I would book them differently because I'm a smart ass. This week we're looking back at Christian's World Heavyweight title reign. What happened when Christian finally won the big one, then lost it 5 days later, and then turned heel, and then one more match, forever. So it was after WrestleMania 27, you know, the bad one, and Edge comes down with a really bad case of neck and has to retire. The World Heavyweight Championship is held vacant and suspended above the ring at Extreme Rules in a ladder match with Alberto Del Rio versus Christian, Edge's best friend of 27 years who's never won a world title. What happens? He wins a world title with Edge's help, but he wins a world title and then loses it 5 days later to Randy Orton. Ouch. He waited 17 years to get the belt and lost it after 5 days. Technically 2 days, considering that SmackDown's pre-taped. That has to hurt. So what happened then at Over the Limit? Christian said, I want my rematch. We're going to find out who the better man is. Turns out the better man's Randy Orton. Oh. So Christian then turns heel, clonks Randy Orton with the big belt, bonk, and then demands one more match at Capital Punishment, which he loses despite his foot being underneath the rope as he's pinned. Shonky officiating. One more match. Blah, blah, blah. Christian's peeps. So that match happens at Money in the Bank. Basically, if Randy Orton gets DQ'd or if there's shonky officiating, then Christian will be the World Heavyweight title. He spits in Randy Orton's face, who then kicks him in the plums, getting himself disqualified, and Christian becomes the World Heavyweight Champion in the lamest way possible. Then it's announced no holds barred for the title at SummerSlam, which Christian loses. Christian goes into the match thinking, hey, I've got Edge in my corner. Edge calls him a punk-ass bitch, and then leaves him to get beat by Randy Orton, who turns out was the better man all along. Now, the feud was fine. It was okay. The matches were really good, and Christian made a good heel, but it just, wow, it made him look really weak. Basically, on his best day, he could never beat Randy Orton. So basically saying to him, sorry, mate, you don't belong in the top tier, which is sort of what the WWE always thought of him, sort of. So, I can do it better. So let's look at the beginnings of this feud. Well, it started with Edge handing over the title to Christian, basically. He helped Christian get the victory. And so from the off, Christian was always sort of in Edge's shadow. He was only the World Heavyweight Champion because of Edge. So he's not really dictating the storyline, he's sort of reacting to it. He seems like a passenger, it seems quite weak. So we changed that immediately. So at Extreme Rules, the same match happens. Edge helps with the distraction. Christian beats Alberto Del Rio, and he's celebrating with Edge in the ring. Big hug, Canadian kisses, etc., etc. Then Jerry the King Lawler comes into the ring with a microphone, and he says, well done, Christian. Hey, with the help of your buddy Edge, you finally won the World Heavyweight title. How'd you feel? Christian says, say that again? And Lawler's like, how'd you feel? And Christian says, no, before that. And Lawler says, you finally won the World Heavyweight title. And Christian says, no, before that. And Lawler says, with the help of your buddy Edge? And Christian says, yeah. That's what I thought you said. He turns around and low blows Edge. He can't clonk him with the belt because of neck issues. Also, that's horrible. The guy could be paralyzed. So no, he low blows Edge. Edge is writhing around in pain. Christian looks down at him, holds up the belt, and walks off. Next night he comes out, or next SmackDown, whatever, he comes out with Brodus Clay. Remember, Alberto Del Rio's enforcer. So yes, Brodus Clay doesn't go off to become the Funkasaurus. God, no. No, he sticks with Christian. Christian comes out and says, it's always been about Edge with you people, isn't it? It's always been about Edge and Christian. Well, I am Christian, goddammit, and I am the World Heavyweight Championship. I did this all by myself. I didn't need Edge. I'm dictating the storyline. I'm the man, and I'm taking on all comers. I've even got my own entourage. This is Brodus Clay. He's massive. So then Randy Orton comes out and is like, I'll challenge you. And Christian's like, oh, sure, fine, Over the Limit. But for now, you can fight Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay fights him, he's a big monster heel, and he actually gets a pinfall victory over Randy Orton because of interference from Christian. And that's what happens. Christian doesn't wrestle on TV anymore. Now this is partially to protect him because at this stage in his career he's made out of bloody glass, but also it's nice. He sees himself as a prize fighter. He only fights when it's important, when he gets a big payday. He's above the rest of it. So, Over the Limit comes around after this big build-up, Randy Orton versus Christian. Then the bell rings, Christian leaves the ring immediately, goes up to Brodus Clay, nods at him, and Brodus Clay slaps him down. Everyone's like, what? Brodus Clay just hit Christian, and the ref's like, okay then? Ding, 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 ding. So yeah, Christian outsmarted Randy Orton. He got Randy Orton disqualified, and Christian's like, hey, I won the match. That was easy. Bye everybody. And Randy Orton goes skits. He tries to kill Christian, but he gets away. Randy Orton RKOs Brodus Clay, and he tears apart the ringside area. He tears apart the announce table, rips padding off, and he RKOs 2 referees. Randy Orton goes skits, because we're keeping the Randy Orton anger management issues from the angle. We're keeping that. The next night on SmackDown, yeah, it was a disappointing match, but this is just the beginning of the feud. Stick with it. Christian comes out and says, I won the match. Randy Orton, you go to hell. And I'm happy to say Randy Orton, for putting his hands on referees, has been suspended for 30 days. I'm Christian, la 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 la, peeps. So then Teddy Long comes out and says, hold up there, player. Yeah, sure, Randy Orton had to be suspended, but once 30 days are up, at capital punishment, it's you and him, no holds barred. And Christian's like, fine, whatever. So then Christian, for the next few weeks, has Brodus Clay wrestle all of his matches, and he's just like, yeah, I'm the champion. Look at my shiny belt. I've got a weird tan. Looks like I used too much tanner, but that's fine. I'm Christian. Capital punishment rolls around, no DQ, and it's a slugfest. We get a proper match out of the guys, Christian versus Randy Orton, except when Randy Orton, anytime he starts getting an advantage, Brodus Clay comes in and ruins him, and Randy Orton's getting really pissed off. Finally, Randy Orton catches Brodus Clay in an RKO, but Christian rolls him up with a handful of tights, he gets the pinfall, and skedaddles out of there. Randy Orton again loses his mind and punts Brodus Clay. So next SmackDown, Christian comes out and is like, Randy Orton, you got beat twice. Back of the queue, buddy. And Brodus Clay's there in a comical neck brace. It's time to start giving Randy Orton some big wins because he's been losing a lot. So there's a #1 contenders tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton's in it, a bunch of other guys are in it, and Brodus Clay is in it because Christian wants his own guy in it. Brodus Clay's like, boss, I've got a concussion and my neck really hurts, but Christian's like, no man, you do it. So Randy Orton wins all of his matches week after week for the tournament, and weirdly, so does Brodus Clay, with some help from Christian, but also he's a beast. He's powering through his neck troubles, and he's very slowly turning face. He looks like a monster. So of course, because Brodus Clay is barely able to stand, he's been through so many guys, Randy Orton beats him and becomes the #1 contender at Money in the Bank. Then we have the Money in the Bank match that actually happened. Christian has no Brodus Clay because neck problems, so he's like, oh shit, how am I going to get out of this one? So he decides to spit in Randy Orton's face. Randy Orton loses his mind, he cannot keep his composure, kicks Christian in the plums, and loses his match. So he then wrecks Christian after the match, just like it happened in real life. That was great. So finally, SummerSlam. Teddy Long comes out and is like, okay players, I've had enough. This title is vacant due to shenanigans, and there's going to be one pure wrestling match at SummerSlam to determine the victor. No outside interference. If Christian, if you get disqualified or anything like that, you will lose. Christian's like, okay, well that's a bit disconcerting, but I've still got Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay says, drops Christian and walks away, turning face and pursuing his own mid-card career as a monster. So Christian is like, oh no. And he like gets in a really low ebb, and who should come out but the person he doesn't want to speak to? Edge. Edge is like, where did Christian go? Look, I forgive you for kicking me in the knackers, all right, man. I know you've had trouble with this over the years, but come on. You're your own man. You can do this. Christian shakes Edge's hand and starts to train. He slowly works his way back to being a face. Then finally, Randy Orton versus Christian at SummerSlam. Pure wrestling match. No outside interference, no nothing. Orton hits Christian with the RKO. 1, 2, Christian kicks out. Randy Orton can't believe it. And then Christian finally works his way back, hits unprettier after unprettier after unprettier, and finally wins it on his own. He does it without Edge. Edge comes out, hands him the world title belt and said, "You did that one all on your own, buddy." So Christian comes out looking like a viable top-tier champion at last, and we get an entertaining heel run because of that. And then next, at his big celebration, Mark Henry comes out, injures Christian, and then at Night of Champions, Mark Henry starts his title run. So we're back on the timeline. So we get a couple of great matches with Orton and Christian who could really go together. Then you get Christian's entertaining heel run. You build up Brodus Clay as this mid-card monster, and you finally give Christian that one big important win. So that's how I book it differently. Do you disagree? If so, tell me about it in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and you can even follow me on Twitter here. So, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com. What should I book next? Tell me, and I'll see you soon.